All right, guys, I got 10:05. I always try to at least allow 5 minutes for people that might be running a little bit late. So I'll get started here. And again, try not to keep you too long with an update. I'm going to basically tell you what we told our executive committee yesterday. We had an executive committee meeting in our office. So they've heard this, and now you guys get to hear it. I think I said the last time I do have the TA grant in hand that we received. I think Claremont, you guys got yours, I think I heard, and I think the mayor's partnership got theirs. I know some of our communities participated in that mayor's partnership application. So I've reviewed it. I think I'm going to now send it to our attorney. I'm off next week. I'm going to give him a deadline of giving it back to me by the June the 5th. And I'm gonna get it signed when I get back. I don't think we can really change it, so I don't know if I really need the legal review, but I thought I'd better do it just to be safe. So with that said, I have it in hand, and the one thing that we need back from the counties, and I think Kennedy is going to need this down in Claremont County as well as we're going to need it in our shop. When we wrote those applications, we asked you all to give us how the money would be spent, and everybody come up with a bunch of projects that we come up with engineering cost for, because the procured planner process was going on at the same time, and we weren't sure what planners the state was going to get. So we thought, well, we might need engineers and architects, so forth, so on, for our projects. But now that we have procured planners, we don't need that. So we got the grant, but they're basically going to allow us to do an amendment to our scope of work. So I'm going to have to get back here, and Ken and I are going to have to try to sit down and meet with the county leads, and they're going to have to really take a lead in the county on figuring out how you all want to, in each of your counties, spend that money versus what we put in the actual original scope of work. There still could be some engineering costs that we leave in there if you want to. I'm trying to find out if they're going to allow us and how they'll allow us to use it for existing people that may be working for the county to be paid as they work and be the lead on this. We had a meeting with OBM Tuesday of this week, but it was a very short meeting, and I did not get to ask that question. But that's one I want to quantify about paying existing staff. That came up for the LDDs about us not being able to pay existing staff. So my concern is, if you're a subrecipient, are you under that same rule? So nonetheless, and we weren't even taking any money out of this TA grant. So there's a little confusion on that, but I want to make sure whatever we do it, and no one's knocking at our door saying you got to pay money back because you didn't spend it appropriately. So the good thing with the TA grant is there's an obligation end date, and that's basically the date by which we have to have finalized how we're going to spend this money. And that's October 31st of 24. So we've got over a year to figure this out. I don't want to take that time, but I'm just saying we're under no deadline to get in a big rush. But I do think we need to be diligent here and try to get this done over the summer here. I'm not talking take the whole summer, but maybe July. Sometime in that time frame, we can have an assessment of every county knows what they want to do. And of course, I'm speaking about OVRDC 7 counties. Kennedy will have to tell you guys what her plans are for the 4 of you that are in part of the Claremont application. And then we do have until October 31st of 26 to spend the money. So this is that 250 each county has. We've got till the end of October of 26 to spend it, but we've got till end of October next year to figure out how we're actually going to spend it. So we just have to have that in stone. Those subrecipient agreements between us and each county or entity in each lead entity in each county needs to be in place by that time. So I think we can definitely meet that. Any questions on the TA grant before I move on? Okay, hearing none. The procured planner site is shut down. It shut down on the 17th of May. So as of now, you can not go on there and ask for a procured planner. But I do know there's a lot of assignments. We were given a spreadsheet. Um, we have that, and I think we're going to make that available. Gene, I haven't told you this yet, but I think if we put that on our website, that spreadsheet, it lists all the planners, the procured planners, and the projects and county that they're working on. So you can get a picture of if your procured planners working with a different community who they're working with, you can also see the projects that other planners are working on. And they're going to be working with us, the LDDs, to kind of come up with some, I call it marriages between projects that we could put together and make into one application. But certainly your input on that is not, is welcome, is certainly welcome. If you see some things that you think, hey, what's this project? We want to know more about it. Maybe it's something we want to work with. But just understand the procured planner site is shut down, and we can get you this list of who's been assigned to what projects and what communities.
Hey, John, question on that.
Yes,
Is that
sure.
a list of everybody's planners for all 32 counties or just OBRDCs?
I believe this is all 32 counties. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Which we need to think that way. I've said that all along. We need to think beyond the OVRDC region. We've got to think bigger picture. We may have people partnered up with Marietta. We just don't know what it's going to look like just yet. Also, yeah, the Ohio University, all the LDDs and GOA, I guess, got it to them. Their GIS department did a really good job, and they made maps of each LDD and where the projects are located approximately in each of our counties. So that have been selected for a planner. We'll put those on our website too, and you'll be able to see in our region where the projects are in Buckeye Hills, Omega, Eastgate. You can kind of visualize where the planners have been assigned for project. We'll also add that to our website. Again, I hadn't had a chance to tell Gina all of this, so Gina's finding out right now. As I said, we did have that meeting Tuesday. It was quick. It was a half hour with OBM, and we didn't get to ask a lot of the questions we wanted to know, but maybe we'll have a chance to find that out. The one thing that the last call, I was very brief because a couple things came up that were a little bit of a shocker to us. And just like this, like always, this program, it seems like we have shifts in it. It's something that's new, that's learned, but I didn't want to spout out something that seemed to be a problem, and it seems like it's not going to be a problem. They've worked it out, and that's why I didn't want to get everybody excited last meeting. But the way this program's going to work, I'll try to make this as simple as I can. If I confuse anybody, tell me to repeat it. Since the state procured the planners, for the communities to use those planners, which in our region, we had you guys pick who you wanted. And I think they did that a lot in the other regions, but and that was we wanted your confidence in whoever you picked to engineer and design your project. If the communities utilize and go into contract with those planners, we got to go through a new RFP process. It's a federal rule. It has to do federal rules. So what the state's going to do is they're going to keep the firms that you're working with on contract. And I don't know exactly how they'll do this, but when the projects are put into an application, those engineering costs and the cost for them to be a resident inspector for your project to make sure it's going on. So all their design work, all their work during the project, The state will pay for that. It'll still have to be accounted for in the cost of your project, so they make sure they account for that money, but you won't be under contract with the engineer or architectural firm that you're working with as from the procured planners. That's what they have to do in order for those same groups to be able to work with you continuously. So it's a federal rule. I don't want to get into all that. I don't agree with it. It's been around since 2018 and it's a pain, but there's a way around it. They figured out a way, because we said we were going to have anarchy if you all had to go out and RFP new procured planners after the state secured them for you. So we got it figured out, or the state's got it figured out, I should say. But we'll figure out how the application has to look. But I think they'd want us to put that cost into the application, but then the state will actually, if you get a grant, they'll take that engineering services out because they'll pay it, but you're not going to get a grant for it. The other thing is this program, again, it's ARPA, and I think a lot of us, me included, have focused more on the House Bill 377 rules on the program. And under ARPA, this was another thing that we got kind of quantified on Tuesday. If it was one question we got figured out, it was this. The program speaks of qualified census tracts for ARPA money. These areas where you have those areas have to benefit. I have not seen the map, but I've been talking to other people that looked at it, and they said that there are some counties where, and it's not the same as HUD's LMI map, it's a different looking map. There are some counties that have no qualified census tracts. So our question became, well, can we do a project if it's not in that qualified census tract? And what we found out is, yes, you can, but you've got to show how the people in the qualified census tracts will benefit from that project. So we're going to figure out where those are and how a project fits in, so that the people that live there, nearby, whatever, they can take advantage of the project that's developed out of this. And what I keep hearing, and I've heard this more than once in different conversations, what's key to this program, first of all, is how you sell your project. You can't just say, and this is probably the best example I've seen of a project that you can make eligible, but on the surface, it's not eligible. We want to rehab our downtown theater and have shows there and charge people to come to it and make money off of it. That is not going to get funded. If you sell that project as part of a bigger downtown project, we want to restore the downtown, including the theater. And here's the key to this. As long as you provide access to the public to that theater. So we realize the theater's got to charge for its shows, but I think the key to that is offering some free programming at the theater is the key that you have to do. So it's all the way you present and word your project. I'm hearing loud and clear that this is, they want to fund stuff, and this is ARPA that is available to the community. That's why I think the trails are so easy. Anyone can go walk on a trail. But when you get into theaters, they're not saying they're not eligible. It's just the way we present the projects. So we're going to be creative. We can't just say that's not eligible, but if you can't get creative with how you're presenting it, I think you're going to find that that component of a project is not going to be eligible. So just keep that in mind. And excuse me, I mowed grass last night and the pollen is high, so that's why I keep clearing my throat. Ken Reed, that's all I had. Was there anything else that you think I've skipped over or missed?
Well, just to clarify on the qualified census tracts, I think that the key is going to be show how it serves low to moderate income households. And you look at like Benton County, it doesn't have qualified census tracts. However, the county is considered distressed with EDA because of persistent poverty. So I think a Benton County project could do that in their narrative. Because qualified census tracts out of the Section 42 in the federal code, that's what they use for low-income housing tax credits. And it, like you said, John, it's not quite the same as our CDBG, LMI designation, or even ARC distressed counties. But I think we can use all of that data, where it might not be in a qualified census tract, but we can use ARC distressed counties information. They are ARC distressed census tracts in OBRDC that don't necessarily co-align or align with the qualified census tracts. However, you can put that in your narrative that it is a stressed census tract under ARC definition. So a lot of it's going to be wordsmithing, and I think as we get later this summer, we'll get some language down that everybody can use. We can share that language. I would just say right now, focus on your projects, and it's time to get realistic. A lot of people, as in a community the other day, they had 5 or 6 great ideas. They might do this, might do that. It's time now to fish or cut bait. You need to prioritize a couple of projects, really get them fleshed out with the idea of putting them into a competitive application this fall. When we went for procured planners, a lot of folks put a lot of great ideas out there, but now I think it's time to focus on priorities, because not every little town's going to get $20 million and get 6 projects funded. So it's time to get realistic, find a couple of your priorities and focus on those. And then later this summer, we'll work and talk more about trying to put those into competitive applications this fall.
And Wayne asked about the qualified census tract map. Ken, do you have that actual map? Have you found it? I found one, but it was like 3 or 4 years old, so it was dated.
Yeah, I was talking to Jeannie yesterday. I'll send her something. I want to find one that's a little more user friendly, and then maybe Isaac there at OBRDC can convert it into more of an OBRDC centric map and a little more user friendly.
Okay.
But yes, we can get that out to everybody so they can see. And again, I think it's going to come down to, the grants writing. When we make them, like you said, John, make your case, tie it into COVID response or, to that, tie in the low to moderate income component. And of course, try to meet your ARPA and House Bill 377 guidelines.
Right. So any questions? That's all I had this morning. A lot of information kind of wrapped up in a nutshell, I know, but it's coming together. I think having the we had that first powwow Tuesday with all the planners were in the room, all the local development districts were in the room, and I think there was good camaraderie between all the groups involved, and I thought that was a positive sign. And I'm hoping that we can, between all of us involved on that side of things, and with your good applications, we can make great use of this money and find the proper projects that will fit into it. I will say, as we've said before, not every project's going to get funded. A lot of people have good ideas, but they may not be for this program. But please don't hesitate to work with us to help you find maybe the proper program to apply for. In fact, I will say this, our regular ARC, Appalachian Regional Commission funding round, we just had pre-applications. And we were worried that people would maybe not apply for the ARC because they had their eyes on this program. And we got 31 applications submitted. And I was glad to see that. I want to see what the quality of those are carries rating them right now. But we were glad to see that. So there are other alternative financing sources if you are not part of ACGP. Don't lose hope and think that this is the only money that's going to be available to Appalachia, Ohio. Everybody's ready to go fire up the grill.
Hey, John. This is Trisha from Ross County. I'm sitting in for Devin Shoemaker and Austin Powell today.
Yes.
I think you said this at the the very beginning, but I just want to double check. Did you mention our salaries reimbursable? Did we find that out?
Well, I did not. The meeting with OBM on Tuesday, we just had them for a half an hour. And we were able to submit several questions. I think one of mine got answered, and I had 5, I think 4 or 5 I had. One of them was that question, but I did not get it answered. So we're going to pursue getting it answered because we need to know that before you guys go down that path. Perhaps what I'll do, I'll send the email that I sent to Amista Lippett at Mayor's Partnership. She was organizing those questions. Let me just send that to GOA today, and I'll see if I can't get a response from GOA if they can consult OBM about that question. We need to know. I don't want to hold all of you up on this.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Well, everybody have a good Memorial Day weekend.
Yep. Enjoy your Memorial Day weekend. Be safe out there. And I'll see y'all June the 5th, I guess. I'm off next week, so I need a break. My head's full. So not of just pollen, but of information. So all right. Thanks everyone. Enjoy the weekend.
Thanks, you
Bye.
guys.